Welcome back
Beep, beep, I'm
to Connected. That's all I didn't sing, guys. Welcome back to Connected. It's Destiny and Jaden here. And guys, it is so hot, but we're going to push through. My room is probably hotter than it is outside. Probably the same
It's
temperature.
so hot.
I have the front room, so the sun just shines in, and I can't turn on my fan because it's really loud. So you're gonna be like, are they trying to make a rap?
It's hot. I can't rap.
Okay. Today our topic is one. I just want to do a little check-in. I hope you guys are all just doing great, and that even if you're not meeting your goals, like holy habits, when we were talking about getting in your word, even just don't be too hard on yourself. Keep pushing through and keep trying to give God as much time as you can. But if you're struggling, that's okay.
It's okay to make mistakes and fall short because the Lord gives us grace. And it's not saying like, oh, I can just mess up and on purpose, like be like, oh, well, the Lord will forgive me. Like, that's not what we're saying. But it's okay if you do make mistakes because the Lord gives us grace. And it's like, you don't get like, oh, but you only get 10 grace things. If you use all 10 up, then you're done. No, it's like forever. Like, he'll forgive you time and time and time again because he loves us so much. So it's okay if you're not meeting that goal every week, but if you're putting your best foot forward and your heart's in the right place behind it, then it's important.
Okay. Let's tell them the topic.
Today
We are
talking about having a conversation about facing your giants.
Yeah, how we face giants in our lives, what we did to overcome it, and what giants we have faced. So, are you going to ask me the first question, or do you want me to ask you the first question?
Rock, paper, scissors.
Ready?
Wait, what is it?
On shoot.
Whoever loses gets asked the first question or asks?
No. Whoever loses
answers first.
Yeah.
Gets asked the first question. Okay, ready?
That's not the same.
Yes, it is.
You said whoever loses gets to ask the first question.
Gets asked the first question.
Oh, okay. Sorry, guys. Did y'all not understand? Because I didn't. Ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. We're just so connected.
Those of you listening, we both did paper and then we both did rock. Okay, ready?
Okay, it's not going to be connected right here. Ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh my gosh! Sorry, I just screamed in the mic. Okay, for real now. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Okay, calm down. Okay, for real now. Okay, don't be on this wavelength. Ready? We're off. Ready? Wait, I need to say it out loud. I don't know when to do it. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. My gosh.
Okay.
Guys, rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Okay, Jaden won. So she asked me the first question.
All right, ready?
Finally, after like the 50 billionth time of rock, paper, scissors.
Okay, what's a giant you faced in your life that tested your faith?
Oh gosh, guys. These are on the spot questions. We didn't even talk about it. A giant, I would say. Probably. Honestly, one right now that I'm facing is this whole Spain process. It's just been so much, and yes, I'm excited, but there's a lot that goes on like behind the scenes, and me waiting for my visa and just the stress of like the unknown and how everything's going to work out. Honestly, I've been having the thought that I just want to give up. And
go to Spain.
Yeah, and just be like, whatever, I'm staying here because it's just so much right now. Like me and my roommate, the girl I'm going to room with, we like tried to get this flat there and then they declined us, which I don't know why they declined us. They didn't even tell us. They're like, no. And then the whole visa appointment and everything, it's just been really stressful because I know God could open up appointment, but it's looking like I'm not going to get one till after the day I need it by. And then that's just a whole nother stressful thing. And then, so I would say just the unknown. And one thing I would say a constant giant in my life is giving up control, because I am such, one, I'm like perfectionist, OCD, like everything, and like a control freak. I like to be in control of everything because I'm very much of a person that the less I know, the more anxious it makes me. So if I hold control and I know more, it makes me feel more like at ease and peace. So that's definitely a giant in my life, is giving up control. Just does that count as a giant?
Yeah.
Like surrendering. And I think sometimes I'm like, okay, Lord, like in worship, I'm like, have it all, have it all. And then I walk out and I forget that I just gave it all to him, because then I'm stressing and I'm overthinking.
Wait, actually, I want this one thing back.
And it's like, you have to give it up fully. And I think with this Spain process, I have been giving him just everything fully. Me even just leaving. If you know me and if you don't know me, no one would have thought that I would be leaving this far. I've always been, like I said, like glued to my parents, attached to my family, couldn't be without them for weeks. If you guys remember the embarrassing emails I used to send my mom in 6th grade of me being like, I miss you. But I gave it up and I was just like, okay, I feel like that's where I truly learned to surrender, because one, that was so outside of my comfort zone, and I so didn't like, the thought of going to Spain is so cool, but then when you actually think about it, I'm there by myself. And so me just listening to the Lord and being like, okay, I'm gonna do this, was me surrendering my plan, because my plan was not to go there. I wanted to go to St. Mary's. And I was like, okay, I got in, want to do this. Or, had everything set out, like plan A, plan B. Spain was not even a plan C. And so that was me surrendering. But then as time goes on, I feel like I'm trying to gain more control, because it is so unknown and I don't know what's going to happen. And so I think that's been a giant in my life. Also, a big giant in my life has always just been like contentment, and finding my contentment in the Lord and depending on Him and not leaning on people. And just like, He's the only thing that can fill that void inside you. And I think sometimes I struggle with trying to find it in other people. So that's a giant, like just people in general. Because I love people so much. And I don't know, just like the weird tendencies I have, like people pleasing, or, I want to please people, but it's like, I'm not here to please people, I'm here to please God. And so that's definitely those have been giants in my life. And then even like probably the biggest one besides control is anxiety and being fearful. For a good portion of my life, I was definitely did everything by fear. Didn't do that because I was afraid. Didn't do this. And now I'm like still slowly. What was even the question? Just giants in my life, or how I got over it?
What giant you face that have tested your faith?
Oh, fear for sure, because I think in times where I feel so anxious and fearful, it's like in my brain, this is not good, because God is here with me, but He's not physically here with me. So I feel like, I don't know if you've ever been like so anxious, like it's like, like people say like the hairs on your back like stand up, Like I don't know how to describe the feeling of being so anxious where you just feel unsafe. And I think that's where my faith, that was the question? Lacks, is like having faith that he's gonna protect me, or He's gonna, like, everything's gonna work out in His plan for control. And then for contentment, like that He's enough for me. I don't need more. God is enough. What are some giants that you faced and have tested your faith?
I would say one is like trust in the Lord. I think that was a hard thing for me for a long time, because I would see like things in my life play out, be like, oh, like my dad's sick, and I would like lose trust in the Lord. I'd be like, well, if like you were here with me, or if like you had this right, or if my way, because it's not going well how I want it to, it's like I lost trust in like God's plan and like who he was, that I didn't like have faith that he could like bring me through a season, or bring me out of like a mindset, or like heal my dad, or like, And so I'd feel like that really tested my faith, was like my dad getting sick was such a huge thing, because I was like, have I not already gone through enough? Like, is this not enough? Like, I feel like I've already been tested enough. And like, that made me lose faith, not lose faith, but like lose trust in the Lord, which tested my faith. And through like that giant of like having to like climb that mountain to build trust again, and like know that the Lord's plan prevails and all things will work out for good. And that because I was like in my head about like, oh, well, like this is so unfair, like I had to go through this and this and this and this and this, but because I had to go through that, like now that I'm out of it, like now that like my mindset has changed, like I can see things something different, because I'm not like in the midst of it. I like see like that made me so much stronger as a Christian, that made me like so much like more in awe of God and who he is, and like how he works through things, and like how he works in general. That made me like, whoa, like it just changed who I am as a person, and because like as a Christian, which made me change who I am as a person. And so I would say trust was a big one for me, and then like mindset, I would say my mindset was a big like faith tester, because I was so negative about it all. And I know I talk about this every single time, but that really was a huge giant for me.
No, I thought you were going to say what you always say.
What?
In every podcast, you're like, mindset. What's that thing you always say about your mindset?
I don't know.
Mindset is very important.
It is important. But because I was so stuck in stinking thinking, I was like, about everything, about God, about church, about like literally all of my holy habits, it was just like tanked. And so my faith like really just tanked. It just fell off. Like, boom. I was like, well, this is where I'm at. But I had to like, I was being tested through that, and through that test and like through that, it brought me out as like a new Christian.
That's good. He refined you, and he built your character. And oftentimes when we go through something, it helps us for the next time. Everything is a preparation for what's to come, because you'll know how to handle it better.
Yes. It's good. Okay.
My turn to ask a question?
Yes.
How did God show up in that situation?
Whoopsie. Okay.
Of course, you're one of those overachievers.
I was like, huh?
Kidding.
I was floating there. Okay. I'm an overachiever. Let's be real here. Okay.
I'm not an overachiever.
Okay.
Do things with excellence.
Well, I just answered that question with excellence.
But that wasn't part of the question.
Okay.
Kidding.
What was the question? How did God show up in that situation? So I would say in like the time where I didn't trust him, this might sound like weird, but to me, I felt like my dad, like it was just like, I felt like it was like one after another. He was just sick, he'd better, sick, better, sick, better, over and over again. And not that like my dad was getting like sick because of my faith, but he was like every time he got sick was like, I felt like every time I was being tested from the same thing over and over again. And the first time was just bad, because my faith was bad. Second time, bad. I don't even know how many times he's like been in the hospital. So many. It's been a lot. But like more towards, I would say like the end of last year, this year, it was like I just felt like the Lord was showing up in my life in certain ways. Like he'd place certain things, or like a comment said, or like a random person be like, oh, hey, like, how you doing? I'd be like, huh? Like, why are you asking me that? Like, that's so random. I would just say like the little things in life. I feel like that's where I saw God, was in like the small things, where I'd be like, oh, wait, like that does bring me joy. Or, oh, wait, like God is there in that life. Or the things I would hear from other people, I'd be like, oh, look at God in their life, which increased my faith to be like, if God's doing it in their life, this whole time, why have I not been thinking that he can do it in my life? Or like it increased my prayer life drastically, because like this is like a very common thing, even though I wouldn't say it's bad, but I wouldn't say it's good. Like, we pray the most when we need something from God. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when I need God to like heal me in the situation, or heal my dad, or like be with like a family member or something, like that's when I'm like praying the most, you know? And so through like this struggle and this time, like the first times, obviously I was praying for my dad, but I wasn't like praying for my dad like I should have been. And like the way that my prayer life increased through this, like God like showed up through that, you know?
Yeah.
So how did God show up in your situations?
I named so many giants. Okay. Is control. Control. I think
And anxiety.
and anxiety. For control, I saw times, or in the times when I was trying to force something and hold on to something so much and not letting it go, I saw how it worked out when I was forcing it versus then when it was from God. And when you force something and something's not for you, it comes with like confusion and all this stuff. And then now, when I've let go of certain things and just let God, like, okay, if I don't need it in my life, remove it. I've seen, like, not why I don't need it, but does that make sense?
Yeah, you've just been given
I've
like
seen
clarity.
what his plan was,
Yeah.
why I didn't,
Yeah.
you know? And so for me, he showed up by showing me like his plan. Like, see, this is why I needed you to surrender your plan so I could do this through you. And then for anxiety, I would say he just he comforted me, and then also my faith just grew. Even with the control, like Jaden said, her prayer life, I just felt like closer to the Lord. His presence, and when you could just feel something
Just
like
peace
on you, and like his presence
Yeah,
on
yeah.
you. I don't know if I said this in a vlog, in
In a
a podcast
podcast.
before. Sorry, but my did I say this? My closet's a walk-in closet, and so
I
at
think you have
times
said
when
this
I
before.
felt uncertain about God's plan or not wanting to giving him control, or surrendering, or anxious about something, or just like, why can't this happen, or why are you doing it this way, I would go in my closet, and it's a walk-in closet, so it's not just like one of those closets. That would be funny. But this sounds so like poor me, but I would cry in my closet. And at that time, like, that sounds so sad, but I look back at those moments, and that's when I felt God the most. Like, I felt close to him. Like, yes, I was crying, but I was being comforted. And I don't even know how to explain it. Like,
It's just like that's exactly what you needed in that moment.
yeah, and all those times I would just go because I have like a pillow in there to like lay in there. Sometimes me and you lay in there. We haven't done that in a while.
Forever.
We're weird. And I have a pillow, and we just lay and
little
we
weirdos.
talk. And also my prayer board was in there. So I would like pray, and then I would just lay down. And I have a light in there too. So sometimes I'd cry in the dark. But it was just so like peaceful and renewing. I felt like my spirit was renewed after I'd walk out. So I think I just felt his presence. So that's how God showed up. And he just wants to hear from me, and he just wants me to trust in him and have faith that he could do more than I could even ask or imagine. So that's how he showed up for me. Did I answer that right?
Yes.
I always like get nervous answering questions because I'm like, sometimes like I'm going very broad and off topic,
Yeah,
and I'm
no,
just
I'm just
like,
gonna-
did I really
I'm the
answer
same
the
way.
question? Are the listeners like, girl, you missed the whole point?
Like, that was good, but what? Okay.
Okay, your turn to ask a question.
Looking back, how did that challenge grow your relationship with God?
Well, it caused me to increase my prayer life. I went to prayer at the church every single Tuesday. Like, I was like, I'm not hanging out with nobody. This is my time with the Lord. And that's when I felt like I would pray, but also I was seeing prayers get answered. And then my faith was just being built and built and built, because it's like, wow, God really does hear me. God really is with me. And my faith was like never before at that time. And I think we always go in seasons of like our faith's up here, you know? The people that are listening, they're just like, what
is going on?
I'm doing something with my hands, like a mountain, up,
Yeah.
down, up, down, up.
Yeah, I'd say that's true. For me, are you done?
Oh, I was going to say, looking back, how did that challenge grow your relationship with God?
I would say it increased my faith in God. Not that I didn't believe in God, but like it increased my confidence in him. It increased like how I viewed him, or it changed how I viewed him. And like it made me really see that God is like can do anything. He's all powerful, he's all knowing. He like and his love for me is so great. Like that really increased during that time. Was like I know that this is hard and I know that this hurts you, but like I love you so much and like you don't have to worry about this. Like trust me. And giving up like control, I guess, or laying down like trust, giving it to God, like giving trust to him was such a big thing for me. And when I actually put my trust and my confidence in God and who he is and who he says that like I am and who I can be, really like that just changed everything, and it made my relationship so much stronger. It made me have so much more confidence in what God can do for me and for literally anyone else. Like I hear people, they'll be like, they'll say something and I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like that's not true. I know God can do this for you because I've seen it do it in my life and I've seen him do it in like someone else's life, in that person's life, or I saw it in this situation. And that just, it really helped grow my faith and it just opened my eyes to being like, whoa, God. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Ooh, this one's interesting. Have you ever felt like David going up against Goliath? What was your slingshot?
Um, I would say I felt like David going up against Goliath. I feel like I was my own Goliath, if that makes sense.
Like you were your biggest.
Yes. Like I was my own giant. I was like blocking my relationship with God. I was standing in the way, kind of being like, oh, well, like I wasn't putting in any effort for God and just expecting things to happen for me. I was giving no effort to him. I was doing
a
nothing
one-sided
for him.
relationship.
Yes. And I was just like, where are you, God? Like, how could you not do this? How are you not here? Which made my trust in God smaller, or like made God smaller in my head, which is now looking back, I'm like, what? That makes no sense. But in the time, in the moment, because I was so angry with God, I didn't see, like, I was standing in the way of being like my selfishness and my pride and my ego was just like, not that I could do it, but that I I didn't have to do anything for God. Like, I didn't, like God should have just done it for me. Like he should have just like done this, done that, done this, done that. And for me, I would say my slingshot was prayer and like praying over like my mindset, over my life, over who I am, who I believe I am, who I'm not, and who I want to be. So I would say my slingshot was prayer. And over time, like when I started praying those things, I'd believed them, but I didn't believe them to like a full extent. But as I kept praying that over myself and as I kept just like declaring that like life over myself, I just believed it more and more. So I would say prayer was my slingshot. Have you ever felt like David going up against Goliath? What was your slingshot?
Yes, I feel like it right now. Just um and through like seasons of fear and anxiety, I think that's probably been like the biggest giant in my life. What was my slingshot? Reading his promises and getting in his word and hearing what he has to say. Because then once I read if I know his promises, then I know it for myself.
You can believe it.
Yeah. And then now, what is my slingshot? Praying. But if I'm being honest, I know I could use more like faith in my prayers. Every time I check for a visa appointment, I'm like, Lord, I believe it. I believe it. And then I just I'm like, please open one. Like, I trust that you can do it. And then I like click it and it's like, all right. I was like, I already knew that was going to happen.
You're like, so I didn't really, God was like, oh, you believed it, huh? You believed it, right?
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. So prayer and just trying to get rid of this like lack of faith in this. I don't know.
I feel like
I'm just like, what is God trying to teach me right
hard.
now? That's my season I'm in. Like, through the waiting, I need to wait on him. And I know that his plan and that he will get me the places where I need to be. And wherever God wants me, that's where he will have me. But I'm like, okay, Lord, like, there could be multiple things you're teaching me right now. Were you just testing me to see if I would just follow you and listen to you and see if I would go places and step out of the boat and walk with you? Like Abraham and when he had to kill Isaac? Or what's going on here? Like, you just want me to wait to see, like, I have trust in you and know that you're going to all work it out. Sometimes I feel like that can also be a giant, like hyper fixating on like what he's trying to teach me now.
Yeah.
I'm like, Lord, okay, I'm going through this. What are you trying to teach me? It's like,
And
is
just
this,
like,
is this,
and
is this, is
he's
this?
like, can you be still?
Yeah.
Be still.
Be still and know.
Yep.
It's a good
I
verse.
feel like I don't even know, like, if someone were to ask me, how do I increase my faith? That's hard because it's a mindset for not a mindset, but it's like something that has to take place inside of you. Like, I can tell you all these things. I can be like, oh, like, you need to pray, but you already are praying, but you just don't believe your prayers. Or read your Bible, but if you know the word and you know all this, it's just something that you have to believe. It has to be such a raw moment with you and God. Like, there's nothing that anyone else can do for you to increase your faith but you. It's only something that you can do. I can tell Destiny, like, you just have to believe that the visa appointment's going to be there. Like, you just have to know that God will get you through this. And even if, like, da-da-da-da-da and da-da-da-da-da, you just have to know. But she's like, obviously, I know I have to believe in it, but I don't. Like, there's nothing that I can do to just, oh, okay.
That is so real.
Like, it's hard. Like, that's such a hard feeling, too, because you're so hard on yourself about it, too. You're like, why do I not have faith in God? Like, I know that he can do this for me, but I just don't. Like, my faith is lacking right now. I guess we can just pray for more faith.
That's what I was going to say. That's what I do.
Lord, increase my faith.
I'm like, because even when I pray for my appointment, I'm like, Lord, you already know my heart. You already know that there's a part of me that's like, it's going to go red.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way a visa appointment's going to open, you know? And then it's like, it's hard because like you said, I want to believe it. I know that he can do it, but it's like,
you don't.
Like, to me, like, if I'm thinking about it, how is it going to open? Like, all of them are already, you know? Do you get it? Like, I don't really know.
You're like,
so that's
I just need that
really
one cancellation. Right, that's hard, yeah.
Which, I mean, yeah. Yeah. It's just like a lot of things. And then it's like hard for me because I'm still trying to be obedient to him and surrender to him and being like, okay, Lord, I know you got me, but we're getting a little close to the deadline.
I didn't think you'd bring me along this far. I mean, I thought it happened like 2 weeks ago, but I guess we're still here.
And then it's like, okay, what if? Let's just play. But listen, okay, this is a sidetrack. I love to play the what if game, but this also goes through my head. What if I'm not meant to go to Spain? He purposely made the appointment not work. I'm not meant to go. My biggest fear is not going, because then what is everyone else going to say about me? Like, oh, you said you were going to go to Spain, and now look at her.
Listen, that's not your fault.
I know.
These appointments didn't open up.
I don't want people to be like, oh, I just knew she wasn't going to go. But then that goes back to people pleasing and caring what people think.
You're like, well, actually, through this season, it was so important for me because I learned so much about my faith in God and my relationship in God.
Yes,
and
I
I truly thought that I was going. If someone ever said,
yes. Can you just listen? Now?
Sorry,
I'm saying, do you get what I mean?
No,
What
I
if
do
God's just
understand
trying
what
to
you're
teach
saying.
me, like, who cares what everyone else thinks? You were following me, and all that
that's what
matters
was important.
is you're following me.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
because when we follow the Lord, we're not always going to get accepted. Not everyone's going to love us.
Yep.
Like it says, like the world hated him first, so they're going to hate us too.
Yep.
We're going on so many tangents right now. Sorry. Okay. Back.
Let's reel us back in.
Squirrel.
All right.
Okay, it's your turn to ask a question.
Okay, wait, I didn't look for one. Okay, it says, what Bible story or verse encouraged you when facing something big or scary?
Control. Isaiah 60:22. That was like at the time that I was graduating, and even just like before, like pre-graduation, January, February, before that June I graduated, that verse just kept popping up. Like I've never heard that verse in my life until that season in my life, and it just like pop up random things, random people would hear. I'd hear it on the radio, and that verse just really comforted me. Like at the right time, He will make it happen. Just need to trust in Him, and I would repeat that to myself. Like at the time, He will make at the right time. The Lord will make happen. And then for fear, something like Psalms, something where it's like, He's at the right hand, I will not be shaken, you know? And just, that's comforting knowing that He's by me, and that, even that verse, I don't know where in the Bible it is, but it's like, what would mere mortals do to me? Like, got the power of God in me. And then Matthew 6:34, that's a great one, where it's like, therefore do not be anxious about tomorrow, for today has enough troubles of its own. Blah, blah, blah. I don't remember the full thing, but that one for sure. I don't know. There's just so many verses. And then story. It said story. What story do I cling to?
Verses.
My two favorite stories, Bible stories in the Bible that I've always loved, is Ruth. And she was loyal, and she had to just wait on the Lord. You know? Mm-hmm. Do you agree with me? Because you're looking at me like, wait on the Lord.
No, because
that's always been my favorite Bible story since I was a little girl.
Wait, never mind. I was thinking of, what was I thinking of?
Like she could have left.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then Joseph. That became my favorite Bible story. Like I've always known that story, but just like must be in the past. How long have I lived here? Maybe 2 years. No, not lived here. Sorry. Maybe in the past 2 years, because we don't always see God's plan. One thing after next happened to Joseph, and then we saw like why God made him go through everything. Like he was literally preparing him when he was in jail and telling their dreams, and then they get out and then they're like, this guy, he knows he can interpret dreams, and then him being just like, and then to his brothers bowing down to him. Like just everything had to go in that order. And maybe we don't sometimes want to go through something in our life, but it's going to come out more beautiful, and God's going to get more glory once we get to that end point. And then we'll be able to look back one day and be like, okay, now I see. He was just equipping me and preparing me for what the Lord has for me. And something also that I really like is sometimes in the waiting and in the preparation, God, sometimes we're we're waiting on the blessing. It's that the blessing is waiting on us. That was one of my favorite things that I spoke yesterday at Awaken in our young adults group at church. And that was just very eye-opening to me when I was thinking about that. Is like, sometimes He's just preparing us for the size and the weight of the blessing that's going to come. Because if it comes too early, then we're not going to know how are we going to handle it. We're not going to know what to do with it properly. But everything happens at the right time. And sometimes I think we just have the mindset that, oh, we're just waiting for the blessing. But God's trying to teach you something in the waiting and wants to refine you and shape you and help you so that you'll be able to be ready for the blessing. Because what did I say yesterday? Waiting is not a punishment, it is preparation. The Lord is preparing you. So, what verse for you?
Well, verse for me. Sure, you
Our
guys can all
favorite
guess
verse.
this.
Guys, what do you think it
Romans
is?
12:2.
Ding, ding, ding.
Do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. And it goes on from there. But that was such a strong and like pushing verse in me for that in that time where like I was just like every day.
We've
And
all
it was
been
like,
there.
I'm not a victim. Like I'm like things happen, but like it's not like oh poor Jaden all the time. Like I control my life and I control how I want to see things. And through the transforms and the renewal of my mind, I was able to see God in a brand new light. Like generally it was brand new. Like I'd never seen God like how I saw him. And for my story, I would say Moses, because I felt Moses.
Also, pause before she says Moses. Also, when you said, what did you just say? We control. What did you
How
say?
we see things.
It's also we control how we respond to things. That's another big thing.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Go on with
And-
Moses. With Moses. I don't even know how to do it.
Moses. And how he brought the Israelites out of Egypt. Because during that time, I felt like God was Pharaoh and he kept saying no to me. And I would go and it'd be declined. I'd go and I'd be declined. I'd go and I'd be declined. I'm like, stinking. Like, I thought this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, I'm supposed to be coming to you and I'm coming to you and you're declining me every stinking dumb time. I was like, God, like, what is happening? And I just like kept going to God, which I feel like that I was really being tested. Like, every time, like, because in the beginning I wasn't going to God. I was like, just being like, well, sucks. This is where I'm at. But then, like, I felt it's like, oh, I need to go to God about this. And then I'd go to God and be like, nope. Go to God. Nope. Go to God. Nope. I'm like, stinking. And then, like, as I continued to go to God and I continued to be faithful to him, he was then faithful to me. Just as, like, Moses was faithful to God and he was, like, scared to go to Pharaoh. He continued to do it over and over again. And God was then faithful to Moses and his people and brought them out of slavery. Like my chains were broken. I was so like holding on and I was like, no, I'm not going to give up trust. Like, I don't trust you. And then like, it was just like, oh, like I do like the weight, like that weight of like, that weight of being free is like the weight off of you. And now like you're free. It's like, whoa, like I can just trust God with anything. Like, I don't have to hold it all for myself. Like, I'm not strong enough to do it alone. Like, I need God with me, you know? And I felt like that was very, like, that story was just, like, reminded to me a lot. So.
It's a good one. I like that. I think that wraps up our topic, right?
Yeah.
I hope you guys enjoyed this reflection, questions, just for you to ponder in your own mind is what giant are you facing right now, or what giant have you faced, and how did God come through for you? And if you're going through something right now, what would be a good reflection question? I had one, and then how could you trust him, or how can you cling to God more?
Your slingshot.
Boom.
What are you
Bam.
What are you gonna pick up?
Yeah.
All right. Song of the stinking week.
Guys, we always forget. Song of the week.
Keep praying. What about that one?
No, isn't there one about Goliath?
The elevation one.
I'm calling on the God of Moses.
It's like, I may not face Goliath,
but I got my own giants.
The song's like,
Oh God, I need you. Oh God, I got. Okay, the song of the week is "Same God" by Elevation Worship.
Yep.
Remember to stay connected to each other, stay connected to us. If you have any prayer requests,
Send 'em
reach out. Yep, we'll be praying for you. And remember, most importantly, to stay connected to the vine. Bye, guys.
Be the
Remember
li-
to
Be the light.
bye.